Just going to quickly take you through filling in this form, which will help generate a reasonably good cost estimate for your project. Fill in your details. You then need to basically try and establish the floor area of which you're doing each type of work, and then we can apply a rate per square meter to that to help you calculate how much your works are going to cost. There's a little hover thing over here. If you just hover over it, it gives you a quick description, but I'm going to use an example and try and show you how it all works. So I found a typical house. It's in Ladywell, it's quite near our studio. Seems quite nice, but you know, I think it can do with a bit of renovation works. Some of it's all right. Some of it needs a little bit more attention. It's definitely got some potential. I think I need to do an extension and some refurbishments. So I'm going to look at the plan that the agent has made. Now obviously these plans are only reasonably accurate, but at this stage that's okay. I can see that the plot's 5.27 meters wide, and the main thing I'm going to do is a nice big extension. I'm going to come sideways and I'm going to go backwards. So I'm going to be full width, so let's say 5 meters. And we're about 4 meters front to back here, but I'm going to add a couple more meters. So let's say I'm going to do 5 by 6. So that would be 30 square meters of rear extension. Now if we go back to the form, intensive works are those kind of extension works. I'm going to include the existing kitchen space within that, because that's all going to come out. I'm going to put big beams in, I'm going to build walls and put new slabs in and all the rest of it. So that's going to be 30. So the next thing I'm going to do is non-structural. Back on our plan, I think these bathrooms definitely need to be refurbished. I think I might turn this one into a downstairs loo and maybe a utility room, and this one I'll refurbish as a family bathroom. I don't have accurate dimensions on these, but I reckon they're about 2 by 2 each, or maybe 2.5 by 2.5. Let's say 10 square meters total. So I'm going to put that back in here as 10 square meters. I'm then going to rewire and replumb and make good the rest of the house. The rest of the house is 173 square meters. Now I've already covered the 2 bathrooms and the kitchen. Now obviously I've added some floor area here. This kitchen would have been, currently is 4 by 3.6. So I'm going to take that off, and I'm going to take the 10 square meters of that off, and then I'm going to put the rest in as plumbing and rewiring. In my rewire, replumb and make good, the total area of the house was 173. Of my kitchen works, 15 of those square meters are original and 15 are new. So I'm going to take 173 minus 15 minus 10, and I think that comes out of 148. So that's the rest of the house, which should take me up to my total down here, which is 188, which is the new floor area with the additions. So that's 173 plus 15 is 188. So that's just a kind of cross check to make sure everything is correct. Okay, so quick recap. I've got 30 square meters for the kitchen extension family room. I've got 10 meters for the bathrooms. That's left me with 148 square meters of rewire, replumb and make good. Now, I'm going to leave decorative as 0 because I've covered all of the areas within these other 3 categories. If I wasn't replumbing and rewiring everywhere and only decorating, then I could put some of the areas in there. But the making good will cover all decorations. Now, there is actually a basement here on this property. We just go back to the plans. It's down here. Now the thing is, this is an already formed basement. This doesn't need to be structurally dug out, but it might need to be tanked and insulated, maybe add some plumbing and wiring. So I'm going to actually add that area, which is about 10 square meters, onto my non-structural work here. So that will become 20, and that will mean I'm going to take 10 meters off this one. That non-structural works, that will allow me to do some quite intensive works down there, but it's not structural. If I was actually digging new basements, that would be where I would put it in here, or big below ground elements. So if I wanted to make that basement twice as big, I might add it in here as another 10 square meters or whatever it is that I'm going to add on. Landscaping, there is a bit of landscaping, I think. It's already kind of okay, the garden, it's quite well established, but I think I might add a patio for some outside dining. Obviously my rear wall is going to have come out by a couple of meters, so I might need another couple of meters here. What I suggest we do is the full width, 5 and 2.5 meters is a good size for a table and stuff like that. So I'm going to do another 5 by 2.5, which is 10 square meters. Of external works, which I'll add on into my landscaping budget here. Loft conversion, there is actually scope for loft conversion. Whilst the second floor has already got space up here, I think that a rear dormer, looking at this rear photo, there's definitely scope to put a rear dormer on. There's already a front one, funnily enough. Now, in order to cost for that, I'm going to assume that I've got to take the whole back off the house and rebuild that, the whole back half of the roof off and rebuild it. So it's pretty much this entire area. Let's say it's 4 by 3, which is 12 square meters, and we'll put that in as loft conversion. So if we go back here, we can put that 12 in there. Now, obviously, that's not actually additional floor area, so I need to take it off here where I've added the rewire and replumbing, because the loft conversion cost will allow for that too. So I'm going to take 12 off there, which will make that 1, 2, 6. So when we're happy with the areas, and they add up to what we're expecting the total to be, the landscape doesn't add on to that, so this is just the internal floor areas with any additions. We can hit next. The areas aren't absolutely critical at this stage. We're looking for rough ballpark figures, and we're applying rates per square meter. We're getting an idea about how you're wanting to finish the project in this next section, and any additional items that you need to add on. So we'll do this next. This next question is really just about some of the extra items that we might want to put in. I'm going to allow for an air source heat pump, because that's the way forward. Now I might struggle a little bit because of the air tightness and the insulation of the house, but we'll have to review that as we get a bit further down the line. I won't put solar panels on this time. I am doing a new electrical install, so I'm going to click this. This is actually not so much for the works, but also it's more the things like all the socket plates and plug sockets and fuse boards that you're going to need to add in. So there's just an allowance for those kind of things. I don't need any built-in AV and intrusion alarm, but I will put a door entry system on. So the next section is really these kind of premium items that do add a bit of cost. Architectural glazing, again, if you just hover over, you should see a kind of description of what I'm suggesting. So a small bit of architectural glazing would be like a rear sliding folding doors, but you might want to add a big skylight, say. So that would be a medium, and if there was much more glazing, then that would be large. I mean, to be honest, most of our projects probably go towards the large amounts of glazing, but for this example, you know, we're going to build a nice extension across here. So we'll have some big doors there, and then we'll need some skylights here. So I'm going to go medium. So I'm just going to tick medium here. My kitchen is in my new big space is going to be pretty large, so I'll put a medium kitchen on that. Bathrooms, I have, what did I say I was going to do? Add a downstairs WC and a family bathroom, so that would be medium. And then joinery, I'm going to build some wardrobes. I think that probably just in the master bedroom. So let's say 3 linear meters will be enough, which would be a small amount of joinery. So I'm going to click that amount and then click next. Now the next bit is to do with some of the more professional fee side of things. Sometimes if there's trees very close, you need to do a tree report as part of the planning application. Now it does look like there's a bit of a tree here. Let me look a bit closer. Yes, that looks like a pretty substantial tree, and there's definitely some others around. I don't think it will be too problematic, but there could be an issue. I'm definitely going to need an arboriculturalist to have a look at this. So I'm going to tick yes to trees. I don't have a CAD plan, and what I mean by a CAD plan is a proper, accurate, measured survey, not just an agent's plan or a surveyor's report. This is an accurate CAD, computer-aided design plan of your property. So I don't have one of those, which I'm going to need. This property is not in a conservation area, so I'm going to say no. You can search the local authority website for conservation area map, and you should be able to find one which will tell you whether your property is in the conservation area or not. And my property is not listed. Party walls. Now this is going to pick up how many neighbours I've got to deal with by building. Because of our proposal to build right to the boundary on each side, we're going to need an award with both sides. Now they won't be too complicated hopefully, but they will definitely be one on each side. So I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to say 2. Will the works require submitting plan application or a permitted development application? This is not a major problem. It's just quite useful for us to know roughly what we'd be doing. In my case, because this distance is quite long and I'm going to be coming sideways and longer, I will be needing planning permission. You may not know if you do or you don't. The best thing is just to say yes, particularly if you're doing external works. This is the address of the property. It's not critical. We're not insisting on having it. It's just useful for our records. And then please do click and read our terms and conditions and agree. Any other comments you want to write in there, absolutely fine. This form comes through to us as well, so we can help assess it if you wanted us to have a proper look at it later on. Hit submit, and you'll get this message. Once your form's submitted, you'll get an email from us, and it will be a response to all of the questions that you've filled in. It will recap all your areas, all the things you ticked and allowed for. And as you scroll down, it will start to generate the numbers. Contract sum is what you're going to pay the builder, $209,000 for a project of this size. Fixtures and fittings are the kitchen, the glazing, the sanitary ware, all those extra bits that we chose. The architect's fee, this is an estimate of what I would imagine the architect's fees to be on a project of this scale. This is for a full service, so all the way from conception through to planning, contract, tender documentation and contract admin. There are other fees as well. So these are all of the professional fees, including the architect's fees, but also the structure engineer, the party wall surveyor, tree consultant, etc. So this is your total project cost. VAT, I'm afraid, and then that is your actual prediction for your project. Hope that's useful. Do feel free to get in touch up the top here by filling in this form. You can book a consultation with us where we'll go through this with you, break it down, check that you've measured the areas correctly, explain to you what the options are in terms of where cost savings could be made, or indeed making sure that you've got all of the things that you want.